So I was scrolling through Reddit and I found someone who posted asking for people's unpopular opinions, which happens like every year, and it gets like 2K upvotes, which is ridiculous. But anyway, I'll just pick out the interesting ones I found. First one, does Albon actually deserve a second chance? Like, does he actually deserve the Williams seat in comparison to other drivers and the younger talent that's on the grid and stuff?
If you say it that way, does Nikita Mazepin deserve a drive?
That's a good point. No, but
if we establish F1 isn't fair, then we can kind of discuss from there. Essentially, I get why they chose him over someone like other drivers, like probably Oscar Piastri or whoever else like could have possibly gone into that seat. I understand why, because he's driven in F1 and he did very well with Toro Rosso. Like, he was performing very well, and the only time he underperformed was with Red Bull. And with Red Bull, essentially, everyone said that car was undrivable. Pierre Gasly struggled with it. He struggled with it. Sergio Perez, who's been in F1 for like 10 years, struggled with that car. And it's actually, like, the car this year is, like, they solved all the critical issues that the car had. Yeah. And Sergio Perez still struggled, like, a lot with the car. So the question is it really his fault? Because the car has been designed fully to suit Verstappen's like driving style, which obviously, like, putting in three super talented, like you can tell Gasly's very talented, Sergio Perez very talented, very experienced, and Albon, the three of them can't drive it or can't like produce results.
Yeah,
it's obviously not their fault at that point. Like, you've got enough data to say, okay, maybe the car is actually being very weird. I think Sergio Perez as well, like, shows that even though the car is so much better this year than where it was last year, he couldn't, like, that one win he won was because Lewis pressed on a wrong button, basically. He didn't win out of pure performance.
Yeah.
In Silverstone, he spun and got out. Basically, pretty much, like, most of the races, he's useless.
Up until Turkey, yeah.
No, like, the only races you can go back and say he was useful was Azerbaijan, where he took full points from Lewis, because Lewis pressed on that button.
Yeah.
Turkey, where he held up Lewis. And the last one is the last race where he held up Lewis.
Did he not do anything after? Oh.
No, he did well in... No, but, like, he's doing
He did well in the other ones.
Like, Mexico, he got P2, I think.
USA, he got third, I think.
Yeah, but, like, at that point, you're supposed to be getting P2s, like,
yeah.
His car is so much better than, like, you could say the Red Bull for most of the beginning of the season, the car was better. For, like, three quarters of the season, the car was better. And yet, he couldn't perform at all. And I think it says a lot that Carlos Sainz jumped in the car and he adapted very quickly to the Ferrari.
That's the thing, yes. Yeah,
whereas Sergio Perez, he couldn't cope with it.
Should we expect drivers to be able to adapt quicker though?
I think this one, everyone's on kind of like an even plane. So everyone's going to be bad, but it's degrees of bad, basically. And one person's just going to be like very, very good.
That's true, but I mean, that's the thing though, like, you always need to be able to adapt your driving style. Yeah. Like, that's just part of the game.
But I'd say Albon deserves a second drive. I think especially if you look at it from like the team's perspective. You get a driver who's experienced in F1, he performed very well in a small team, he's got experience in a big team, he's got experience in relaying information to the team based on the car.
The experience of Red Bull and stuff's going to be very helpful for them.
That stuff cannot be underestimated. Nicholas Latifi, to be fair, like, his race pace has been getting much better than it was like previously. Yeah, but I think if Albon doesn't go out and destroy him this year, then Albon needs to leave.
Is Latifi even improved that much? I feel like Latifi's like, you know that one kid in school where they're like, I don't know, let's say like, I don't know, the first day of school they throw up and, I don't know, rub it in someone's face, and then the next day they throw out a chair at the teacher, and then the third day they just scream like 3 times, and the teacher goes, "No, well done, that's you've had a great day, solid work."
What school did you go to?
No, but do you know what I'm on about? Do you know what I'm on about though? They're like, "Oh no, yeah, good job, well done. You get to like go out for a day," and I don't know, you get to go to like Thorpe Park or something.
He went to some weird school.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like you're not rewarding good behaviour, you're rewarding an improvement from a horrific standard already.
Yeah, but like in his first 2 years he was in a Williams. He got destroyed by George, but you have to say
That's
George is
true.
extremely talented. Like, he's never gonna be that level. Like, he can
Yeah,
be
no, yeah, he's not
like the most he can be is a midfield driver. But when you look at his like junior Formula career, it's actually quite impressive. He jumped into Formula One, did okay, and this year he had a car where he could potentially compete, and he scored quite a few P11s, P12s, scored points a few times.
I swear, was he third?
He out qualified his teammate a few times at the end of the season, which says a lot considering like it's George Russell. George Russell out qualified Lewis Hamilton in a Williams. So Lewis is in a Mercedes, a 7-time world champion, and a Mercedes, the second, arguably at the time, the second best car, and he's in the third worst car. If you say like Alfa Romeo and Haas are worse, so third worst car, and he out qualified him. So like the fact that Nicholas Latifi could out qualify him, that says a lot.
So
like,
following the chain, Latifi is better than Lewis, which makes him the greatest the greatest driver of all time.
No, not that much, no. He only qualified Russell like 2 times. But yeah, I think it's not fair to say like no, I think he deserves a second chance. I feel bad for the other drivers. I think like Nikita Mazepin shouldn't be in F1. Like you can see why Albon's in F1.
Yeah.
You don't see why Nicholas Latifi, Nikita Mazepin's F1. Like someone like Guan Yu Zhou, the only reason he's in F1 is because he paid basically money. But like he shouldn't realistically be in F1. Like he's been in Formula 2 for so long, but like other drivers are much better. Like you've got Robert Schwartzman, Liam Lawson, you've got Oscar Piastri won like Formula 3, Formula 2 back to back.
Yeah, we spoke about this. This should make him a very special driver.
Yeah, and then now he's off for a season. I reckon that end of next season he'll terminate his contract with Alpine and go to Williams. Whoever they'll get rid of Latifi or Albon, he'll jump into that car.
That is a good prediction, to be fair. Yeah, I do see that.
Because Williams need a new like young driver, and if Albon needs to go, if Albon goes out and destroys Latifi, they no longer need Latifi's money.
True.
So they can afford to have a young driver. It makes sense why they didn't risk it, because Latifi is not like a dependable kind of first driver. So with these two, they're kind of experimenting this year. Do we have like a dependable first driver that can teach us?
Because if Latifi beats Albon, he's been in the team for long enough to become that experienced number one.
Not really, but yeah.
No, sort of.
Yeah.
If he's way better than Albon,
if he's way better than Albon, scores consistently, then like points. Then I'd say like ditch Albon and get like Oscar Piastri in. But if that's the case, then Albon does not deserve a seat in F1 again.
True. Yeah. So I guess
like the fact that he has a seat like for a second time around, I think that's very lucky. Because most people they're very unlucky with teams. They're very unlucky with like team bosses and stuff like that. They leave and they're just never allowed in again. So
they disappear off to Formula E or something.
Yeah, like what's his name? Ayrton Senna's, I think it's
Bruno Senna. Yeah, his nephew.
Bruno Senna. Is it Bruno Senna?
Bruno Senna, the one who raced for Williams in like 2012.
It was a bit before that, but he came into Formula 1 and just
that was Bruno Senna.
Just disappeared into the unknown. Basically, no one knows he exists.
That was tragic, to be honest. Yeah, the Pascal Wehrlein as well was meant to be all hype and that.
He's doing like, and he's not even doing that well in like Formula.
Van Dorn, bro. Van Dorn's the name I haven't.
Van Dorn was competing for Formula E too, but he lost it to Nick De Vries. That's the thing.
Did he actually?
Yeah. So Nick De Vries, Nick De Vries was in talks for the Williams seat because he's a Mercedes driver.
Oh yeah, bro.
Won Formula E. I think I don't think he won Formula 2. I think he was quite close, but he never won Formula 2.
But he was in that tough, like, wasn't it George?
It was George, Lando, Albon. Like, he was in a very tough like if he came fourth, it's still impressive. But I think what trumped it was Albon's experience in Formula 1. Especially, I think now they're thinking of like, I want a steady ship for next year. because of the older new regs, and then after that we can get in some new kind of talent. After that, you can literally just get rid of Albon and Latifi and get in Nick and Oscar Piastri. I wouldn't specifically do that because it's like very turbulent, but plus Albon Latifi, like the team like dynamic would be quite good compared to say like a few others maybe. If you put other people in,
it's
like,
not a worse
very
combination.
toxic.
We'll move on quickly to the next question, which I don't know. I haven't really done much research on, so we probably won't be able to spend too long on this. But Vettel and Ferrari came very close, well, not very close, but they had very good chances to win the championship in 2017 and 18. Vettel's driving was questionable most times, and Ferrari's strategy was a bit awful. Who would you blame more realistically? Because people love saying Ferrari bottled it. People love saying this was the start of the end for Sebastian Vettel. Like, who was actually?
I think it's a bit of both. You have to kind of put like blame on both. Like this year, for instance, I think Lewis would have performed much better if Mercedes didn't screw up their strategy so much. But you can also look at it and say like Lewis made so many mistakes this year.
Yeah.
That are very uncharacteristic of him. Also, like the mistakes very uncharacteristic of like Mercedes. You can say the same with Ferrari. It's literally the exact same.
Yeah.
Like, so I'd say it's a bit of both. I don't think you can really blame one. Like,
So
fully
you
blame
wouldn't
one.
lean more towards one or the other, like you just say.
I'd say besides, like the only thing that comes to mind is like Hockenheim.
Yeah, I
But
guess.
other than that, like Ferrari made quite a few mistakes. Vettel made that one big mistake, but otherwise it's.
I guess it's tough. I don't know. Personally, I feel like I almost want to blame Ferrari slightly more, just for the. I'm assuming the atmosphere wasn't exactly great. Like, just in my head, I know I'm kind of. This is a bit of. It's a bit beyond what we know.
I'm blaming Ferrari, but that's fine.
But like, I'm just thinking, like, I don't know. After he bottled Hockenheim, that's still like what, just after the summer break, maybe just before. So there's still plenty of time left. I'm pretty sure at this point as well, this was after he'd won at Silverstone as well, and the points gap was fairly small relatively. Either way, even if it was big, there's still half the season to go. So I don't know. I can't see how they didn't. I feel like Ferrari weren't very supportive at that point. I just kind of see it where they'd already.
It was the start of it going. The relationship just deteriorated.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I do think it was more like that.
I don't think we can really.
We'll skip over that one. Yeah. All right. I'm not sure. Do we do this one?
No, just go on to the.
We'll skip it. All right.